treated them to an absolute exhibition here. He won it by nearly 6 or 7 lengths. Testamezzo's gained the upper hand. He or she ran to third, but Testamezzo too good in the rack and turn. But Let It Slip draws clear, and it's Let It Slip in the Placida. She draws away from the Rosewood Hill. Rosewood Hill boots away from My Magic Miss and Dark Musket, and she's going to canter home.
Hello, welcome to another edition of Pearce TV. My name's Michael Heaton. Well, Daniel and Ben Pearce have made a promising start to their new training partnership with 17 wins and 24 minor placings from their first 100 starters. I'm joined by both Dan and Ben now. Welcome, boys. We're going to recap the last month as well as take a look at the next few weeks ahead. But firstly, Dan, there was a video which was sort of leaked to our Facebook page last week of your good self riding a bit of track work, generated a few comments. I just wanted to share a couple of those comments with you just to get your take on it. Didn't know stirrup leathers went that long. Look, there's a giant riding that horse. Looks like he's going to get bogged. And I don't mind this one. Didn't know Dean Cox rode track work.
That was my favourite.
Yeah. On a slightly more serious note, the training partnership's obviously going quite well. Has the stable ran any differently now to what it was previously when you and Ben trained with your individual licences?
Oh, look, I think the main difference for me would be as far as Ben's able to ride a lot of the fast work, and that was something that I felt I lacked in my training by myself. So obviously from the video everyone can see that I'm not quite up to riding gallops, but yeah, I think as Ben's able to get out there and do most of the gallops on fast work mornings, I think that's pretty important to be able to give you that feedback and let you know exactly where the horses are.
And it's just the start of two-year-old season now as we head into the warmer months. Does the training of the horses change, or is it basically the same year-round?
Not really. Once the horse is up to the racing, they stay the same. The main difference would be we start getting down the beach this time of year. Obviously we've got a lot of 2-year-olds coming through at the moment, which we get over to the track and get round just for education-wise, barrier work. But yeah, the older horses that are up to racing, they do their gallops and fast work here, and then we try and get them down the beach as much as we can.
And Ben, Money Maher, the 3-year-old Al Maher colt, couldn't have been more impressive in his first 2 wins this preparation. Last time out, finished 6th as the short price favourite, albeit only beaten 1 length. Do you think he was disappointing that day, or was the run a bit better than it looks on paper?
Look, I think on first appearance it was a bit disappointing, being a short price favourite, and the way he'd been winning previously, you always expect that little bit more.
Money Maher quickly gobbled it up though, and Money Maher sprints through, races clear, and comes away with an emphatic first up win. The odds on Pop dominated the race late, given a taste of the Persuader by Noski, and Money Maher ranged up, hit the lead, and sprints away. Look at it go. Down the outside comes Petrosity, but Money Maher bounding clear, and an impressive return to the city. Money Maher beat Petrosity.
But looking back on it, he over the 1200, I think he probably was looking for that bit further at that stage, and his sectionals were still good. He still ran home last 600, high 34s, second fastest of the race. So yeah, okay. I think all in all it was still a pretty good effort, and I think he's definitely looking for further.
So has he done enough now for a shot at this year's WA Guineas?
Yeah, I think so. That's the plan at this stage. He's just gone for a short let up, having 2 weeks freshen up in the paddock, and then we'll have him back. We've got just over a month until the Fair Wreath of the 1400, and then 2 weeks to the Guineas. So as long as all goes well, that's where we're heading.
And Dan, another 3-year-old that's been going really well is Father Nick, of course. 3 starts his preparation, 3 wins, all in midweek grade though. Steps up to listed company tomorrow for the Bunbury 3-year-old Classic. How do you think he'll measure up in that quality field?
Oh, I think he'll measure up. It's hard to tell as far as the form lines. We've kept him in all age racing, and he's sort of dodged some of those better 3-year-olds. But Father Nick, with 100 left to travel, currently holding Mervyn, who can't really make much more of an impression, and Father Nick too strong, drew away. Father Nick on the outside, gains the upper hand, however, it's Father Nick too good. Father Nick got the opening at the 100, sprints through. Queen Tory at big odds is starting to charge down the outside. Father Nick, Queen Tory, Father
another nick.
But I mean, the most impressive thing I think about his last run was how much more of a professional he was, and how tractable he was in running. I think obviously until we see him measure up against those better 3-year-olds, we won't know, but we'll learn a fair bit about him tomorrow. And I think the upside with him is he's by Blackfriars and bred to stretch out a little bit, and what he's been doing over 1,000 metres has been pretty exciting.
And 10 of the 17 winners that the two of you have trained so far have been 3-year-olds, 7 of those individual 3-year-olds. It must be pretty exciting to have a nice crop of youngsters coming through the ranks, especially when they've all been purchased through you at yearling sales.
Yeah, it's exciting, and it's what we pride ourselves in doing, is being able to go to the sales and select yearlings, and we do put a lot of work into picking the right yearlings, and to see them then come through in their 3-year-old season and win races it makes us really proud.
And one of those 3-year-olds hasn't won yet, but we saw her debut last week, Racy Ava, well-bred filly, Testarossa filly out of a Costa del Lago mare. She was really impressive at her first start. What can we expect from her in the future?
Yeah, she hit the line great.
Down the outside, Racy Ava. Red Hot Flirt, though, at the 200. 2 in front of Wise Monkey. Marky Giano down the outside, then Racy Ava. Red Hot Flirt, the leader, though, with about 50 left to go. It's got them done, Red Hot Flirt. Red Hot Flirt just wins. Racy Ava put the big dive in deep out.
She's also in turn out of a Zabil mare as well, so she's bred to stick and bred to get a bit of ground, so that was pretty exciting seeing what she did first up and really made it to the line over 1,300. So yeah, she's one of the stable favourites, and we've got high hopes for her.
And Ben, during the last episode we said Hilbert was the horse to be on first up. Got rolled at Northam first up the other day, much to the angst of a few of us. He's engaged tomorrow at Bunbury. Do we reload again and get our money back, or we keep the powder dry?
Look, I think his trial was impressive. He sat back in the field in his trial, and he hit the line super. In the first up run, yeah, he was slightly disappointing, but he sat a lot closer on speed, a lot closer than we would have liked. He sort of put himself there, and from a good barrier, it was hard to not take it, but he didn't hit the line as we expected. So the plan tomorrow would be to see him drop out, sit back in the field, and hopefully we can get the same sort of run as his first start down at Bunbury back last prep.
And we also have Don't Get Caught engaged tomorrow. First start for almost 11 months, and he's come back from injury. What are you expecting from him tomorrow?
Yeah, he's in previous preps he's always taken those few runs to come up. He's quite a big, gross sort of horse. He does well in the stable, so he's hard to get the weight off. He's had 3 trials back in, so we've been pretty impressed with his last trial.
Don't Get Caught is coming down the outside with a booming finishing run. Has raced up and taken the lead. It's been a big performance. It's coming away. Technical Limit is in second place on the inside. He gives him one crack, Peter Hall. Don't Get Caught. He's a little bit tired now, but still draws clear from Technical Limit, and Don't Get Caught wins it well.
He's coming back from injury, having chips removed out of both his fetlock joints, and we've had them re-x-rayed, and they all look 100%. So he is going well coming into this. The 1400 is probably going to be that bit short for him, but I think once he steps up into the better races around the 2000, 2100, I think that's when we'll see the best of him.
And we saw the debut of Vital Silver, the half-brother to the talented Touch of Silver, a couple of weeks ago at Belmont. What can we expect from him in the future?
Yeah, we were pretty impressed with that. He's still got a bit to learn. He raced green, but he did hit the line very strong. He's pulled up well, so I think next starter we could see the best of him.
And just a quick word on Street Fury. She's back now. How's she coming along?
Yeah, she's come along really good. She had a gallop this morning. I think it's her second or third gallop in this prep. Her work's been nice. So yeah, she's only a week or 2 off trials, and we'll get her up and going and see what she's capable of.
A race like the Champion Fillies up her alley?
Could be possible. We could be pushing. I think we've only got about a month to 6 weeks, so that could be a bit of a stretch, but yeah, we'll just take each step at a time and see how she comes along.
And Dan, you've always been a big supporter of the Rockingham Beach Cup. For those that couldn't make it to the inaugural event last year, could you just touch on what the event's about and what goes on over the weekend?
Yeah, so last year went off really well. They reckon they got around 40 to 50,000 people down there, which was a lot more than we had ever hoped for. So it's a charity event organised by the Rotary Club of Rockingham, and the basic way it works is five races with 5 horses in each race, and the winner of each race goes through to the finals, which is the Rockingham Beach Cup, and it all went off fantastically last year, and yeah, we couldn't have been happier.
Do you know which horses you'll have engaged that day as yet?
Not yet. We'll probably wait till we get a little bit closer and see what's around. It actually worked well for them last year, and I think it freshened some of them up and gave them something a little bit different. A couple came out and won shortly after, so the form out of it was strong.
And for those wishing to attend the event, how do you go about that?
I think the ticketed tickets are sold out, but right through the park, that's for the VIP tents and whatnot, but right through the park is actually a free day, so anyone's welcome to come down and watch right through the Rockingham Beach Park there, and it's a great day out.
And 12th of November, is it?
Yes.
Yes. And Ben, I'll let you redeem yourself, mate, second time lucky. If we could have one bet over the next few weeks, which Pearce runner would we be investing our hard-earned on?
I think it'd have to be Racy Over. She was quite an eye-catching run first up, and she has pulled up well, so probably another 100 metres up to the 14, and I think she'll be ready to win.
Oh, well, if she gets beat, he'll be in the sin bin and Dan could be up next. But that wraps up this month's episode of Pearce TV. Thanks a lot for joining us, and we hope to see you again next time.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Truth and Lies joining in down the outside. Truth and Lies went to splash. Paradise Square. Paradise Square. Truth and Lies. Truth and Lies nailed it. Truth and Lies beat Paradise Square. Superior Smile grabs the lead. Here comes Princess Zelda though with its run. Superior Smile straightened up, running around in front. On the inside, Just Thank Me. Coming to the end of its run, Princess Zelda, Red Hot Flirt battling, but Superior Smile pretty green, but got the job done at the end. Superior Smile beat Just Thank Me and Red Hot Flirt. Forbidden Planet coming right out to the middle of the course, led the way 2 in front of Disco-rific and under the Persuader on the Terps. Chinstrap followed by Greco. Down the outside, Transgressor by the 200 though, and on the Planet still clear a length and a half to Disco-rific and on the Terps, trying valiantly from Greco. Forbidden Planet though in front, close to home from on the Terps, Disco-rific, and it's all the way here for Forbidden Planet. Forbidden Planet beat the Harrison pair.
And the leader, Wild Fusion. Bollinger Boy's done it really tough. Missed the start, sat wide all the way and can't get the leader. Wild Fusion raced away from Bollinger Boy. Down the outside, Total Disc and our girl Marley, but Wild Fusion's going to walk in, wins by 3 lengths to Bollinger Boy. Don't Fuss moved up on the outside, round the point back to the insiders coming through now. So it's round the point, coming after Copper Fury, who's fighting hard. On the outside, Don't Fuss though joined in quickly, and round the point's in a bit of trouble here with Don't Fuss on the outside doing it well. Don't Fuss clear, runs to Paradise, is getting home nicely, and back on the inside is excellent Jerry. He ran right to the outside fence, Don't Fuss, but he got the money clearly from